Welcome back to Gray Squadron Gaming. We have a special episode today. We are joined by a special guest, Dallas Kemp. I'll let him introduce himself first.
Hi, I'm Dallas Kemp. I'm the creative director I'm the creative director at Atomic Mass Games, which basically means I'm in charge of 2D art, 3D art, miniature painting, concepting, stuff like that.
Awesome. And if you guys remember from the what was it? The not mini strav. Was it mini strav? Whatever the Adepticon presentation was called, the roadmap
The
presentation.
roadmap, yeah.
Dallas is the reason we're getting like spider leg things for the Super Tackle set. So thank you, Dallas, for
Yeah.
that.
It's true. I had a dream and a desire, and I was just like, LFL, like what if they had spider legs? And it was actually a fun conversation, and they were like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Actually, if you look at that, when you see that kit, it's got a lot of really unique parts of that. I know we're jumping right into some stuff. We're just
Yeah,
jumping
please.
into some stuff,
Yeah, just
like
pick
Yep.
what we
whatever,
want to
right?
do.
It's got like cool, unique parts, like a specially designed arm with like a little backpack and extra armor plates. You can make it a little heavily armored or less armored, or three different heads or four different heads. I can't remember because there's so many different heads that we've designed.
Yeah.
But it's that was such a fun little kit. But the spider legs were like, this is like it, this makes sense, right? Spider leg droids.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we thought it'd be fun this time to do more of a hobby slash interview. So Dallas is going to be painting the new Obi-Wan from the new Clone starter kit, Republic. I'm going to
Yeah,
be painting some Rebel troopers from the Rebel starter kit, and
super
Dom's going to
cool.
be sitting here just talking because that's what he chose to do today.
That's
So I'm
true.
going to go do that as we get started.
We can
You
only
could
have
be
so many,
clipping, you could
only
be
so many
clipping out
studios in
miniatures.
Joe's basement can work here.
You could be clipping out miniatures
I
and
could
getting
be.
stuff
I
ready.
Joe wants me to do that actually because he's got some extra commandos and stuff to build. But
The secret is you clip them all out and put them in different baggies, but mix up the parts for him.
Oh, that'd be nice. Thanks,
that
Dallas.
I mean, I feel like he would like that a lot.
I think he would really appreciate it.
Yeah, you make a puzzle out of your miniature building for sure. So what got you started into the creative space you're in, Dallas?
So I was actually just telling somebody this story earlier today. I always wanted to be a special effects makeup artist, like as a little kid, like making horror movies.
That's
And
yeah.
yeah, like I was always fascinated with that process and like how you make a monster. And as I got older, I discovered comic books and realized I can just design and draw my own monsters. And then I realized I was bad at drawing. And way back in the early 1990s, the way back time machine here,
hmm
uh, a friend introduced me to miniatures, and I was like, wait, like you get to build and paint little monsters, and then you get to play a game with them. And that's how like miniatures, I discovered miniatures. And for a long time, like it was just like a hobby. But then I finally decided I wanted to pursue a career, so I just started asking questions and started pushing myself and started learning more and more and just started chasing that dream until, finally I got the opportunity, and now this is what I get to do every day. Get to, you know, design poses for Darth Vader and figure out how the miniature, gets sculpted and painted and all that fun stuff.
That's really cool.
What would you say is your favorite sculpt you've worked on recently, or at least that we know of, I should say?
Um,
You
I
have?
don't typically I don't typically do favorites, but I think probably that new Anakin.
I know Joe's super excited about that new Anakin.
I'm very much looking forward to the Clone Wars era Anakin.
Yeah, I really like that miniature a whole lot. I mean, obviously the customizable commanders are super cool too. Like it's so different than anything else we've really ever worked on, and such a unique philosophical from a design perspective, right? Like, um, there's so much going into like designing those when you go to, like a pose like this, right? Like you start limiting options of, how heads can plug in here. So what
Hmm.
heads, you start limiting like what arms could be doing, right? Because once you put something into motion, all the pieces have to work in motion. So there's that, like, how do you make a torso that works with two different legs, that works with like 12 different arms and works with like six different heads, and still feels like it, it still feels cohesive, even though it changes the dynamic each time you change a part. So working on that from the design sketches with a concept artist, and just refining and going through those and like thinking about the pose, and like, okay, well, this armor piece needs to change this. Like, well, this shoulder piece should be a different type of shoulder. You can't use this type of shoulder because it blocks the key, right? Or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, that I love that kind of stuff. So, those customized commanders were super, super fun to work on.
Yeah, that has to be a pretty interesting puzzle to try to mix up everything to make sure it's all cohesive at the end, no matter what combination of limbs and stuff you work with.
Yeah, and the word puzzle is the right word, right? It's like I always say, like every miniature is a unique puzzle. Um, we start sculpting something, and in the design phase, I'll be like, I'll talk to the engineers. I'll be like, well, what do you think? How many parts is this going to be? Like, how much frame space? And they're like, three parts. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I see the three parts in my head too. And then you get it, and then you get the miniature and you get it laid up, and they're like, it's actually 12. Like, and then like something that they'll be like, this is going to be 12 parts. It's like, we did this in two. It's really, so every miniature is like a little puzzle that you got to think about and figure out uh, to work on.
Yeah. I know some miniatures. I'm a very amateur painter. Some miniatures frighten me, and that's what really caught your attention with me at Gen Con was I was a little nervous about
Mhm.
the wheel bite Grievous because that thing is it looks very intimidating to paint, but you broke it down really well onto what goes into it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, uh, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to work on that more, but you know what? I have it right here.
I
So
mean, it
like,
looks incredible.
let's try to get him a little bit crisper. Oh, a little fuzzy. There we go. So like this, it's not very many parts. So people would think that it would be a lot of parts. It's actually not a lot of parts. It's like one, two, three, four. There's like the bit inside you can see there with the
Hmm.
camera angle. And then this is like a little separate bit, like, but that's not a big deal. That just glues on there. The legs are actually only four parts. It goes right together. Um, the blaster is, this magazine
Hmm.
can't be can't be engineered where with along with this, so that had to be a separate part. And the gun barrels are separate. And then the most complex part is actually this little there's a little controller in there, right? And
Hmm.
it has to be there, so I can't not put it in there.
Right.
And then Grievous is Grievous, leg, leg, shin, shin, foot, foot, like your typical Grievous sculpt. Uh, front, torso, back, torso, hips, arm, arm, cape, neck, head. Very typical of what you would see in Grievous. And then you just kind of, I use the plastic glue. So I just put all the plastic glue on there and just set him in there. And then because the
Mhm.
plastic glue takes a moment to dry, you can kind of fiddle him about to get his feet connected to those and his hand connected to that.
Yeah.
And then paint wise, I'm just going to mash paint on there. I'm just going to kind of, I think I started painting this, and I was like, I could just sponge this way better. So I'll just sponge this and then do a couple washes to blend the layers of sponging together. And then I'll pick up some highlights. Very simple techniques. And the dark in the inside, leave it dark. I don't care.
Mm. Yeah, it's always interesting to look at something like that where you have an inside and to see how much you're going to have to do before you put it together if you paint it or
Mhm.
so.
I mean, I'm a firm believer if my brush can't reach it, you can't see it.
That's pretty fair.
I need to embrace that more, Dallas. I'm really bad at. I know no one's going to see this, but I have to take the time to paint it.
I don't. I like I totally get it, right? You're like, but I know. And I'm like, yeah, I do know. And I know that, I always talk about what's the destiny of a miniature, right? So like this Obi-Wan, he's not going on a box, right? I'm not the box one's painted.
Hmm.
Um, he's not there to be, he's not going on display. He's not going into a competition. So what is the goal of this Obi-Wan? This goal of this Obi-Wan is so it's painted so when my game group gets together and I decide to play Obi-Wan, it's fully painted, it's on the table, and maybe I do like something fancy with the lightsaber so people go, wow, right? But that's all he has to achieve. The only thing he has to achieve is be done,
Hmm.
right? He doesn't have to achieve an award, he doesn't have to achieve accolades. He has to be done. So I can tell the cool story of a miniatures game with my opponent. So I allow this to just kind of be that, right? I'm not going to paint under his skirt. I'm not going to do a lot of work on his boots. I'll focus on the face. I'll focus on the lightsaber. I'll make sure this little section right here, I like to call the two T's. So from the top of the head to the belt,
Hmm.
shoulder to shoulder, that's the first T. So that's your first layer of focus, right? So that has to look pretty decent. And then second T is top of head to chin, temple to temple. That has to look the best, right? The boots, I don't need to worry about too much, right? You're going to pick up and I might make like two steps on the boots, but your attention is going to be drawn to the face because that's what we look at. Like I'm
Right.
looking at your face right now, Joe, like looking on the monitor. I look at your face. If we were standing here together, I'd look at your face while we're talking and you wouldn't know what shoes I'm wearing. You're not going to look at what color Obi-Wan shoes are. Now, studio one's different, obviously, because the new Obi-Wan miniature drops and you're laying in bed, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're staring at the picture. You're looking at every single inch of that new miniature you're
Right.
hungry for. So the boots have to be painted. But for me, they don't got to be painted that good.
That's a good theory to think about. I mean, I'm always going for, is it going to look good on camera? Are the people who are watching our videos going to see the intricate detail that I might have missed on something? But
Mhm. Which is good to think about. And like, I mean, trust me, I think about it too. Like I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna paint this real bad, and somebody's gonna be like, oh yeah, look at Dallas, he can't paint.
sure, a lot of people
But
think that.
it happens.
Yeah.
But the reality is the goal of this particular miniature is not to be painted well. It's to be painted. And and that's it, period. In the day.
Yeah, I think a big thing to note that I always tell people who are intimidated by painting or getting in the hobby is that you start where you want to start at. What I mean by that is if you want to paint a whole menu with just three colors of contrast, that's more paint than most people are going to get on the menu. Just start with that and build from there, right? That's
Yeah.
It's definitely where I started. I
I
haven't
mean,
progressed
a
a lot
painted
further,
miniature.
but I'll get there.
Do you know my favorite miniature I've ever seen painted is?
What's
yeah.
that?
The one you just finished. Like you painted the miniature, right? Like what is the goal of the miniature, right? What is the destiny of the miniature, right? It's still the same conversation. What's the destiny of the miniature? And for this Obi-Wan, like it's to hang out with y'all and paint,
Right.
right? And then to be used in a game. Um, it's for my Empire army. I'm having to rebase my ATSTs. So like this was already based and I didn't like the basing, so I'm changing the basing. So I had to rip the base off. And I literally just destroyed it, tearing it apart.
Oh,
But
really?
oh yeah, I just ripped into it, just rip it apart because it needs a new base. The destiny of that is just to be cool and to have an Empire army, and for
Right.
me to have time in my off hours to relax and paint a miniature, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything more than that, right? So when you look at a studio miniature, like somebody got paid for days worth of work to paint that, right?
Right.
So it's never fair for you, even like let's say you can paint it like that, right? Like, I can paint a studio miniature. I don't look at that miniature and be like, well, I need to compare this Obi-Wan to the studio Obi-Wan because I'm not going to spend the time on that.
Right.
I'm not going to do the days worth of work of precise micro blending to do a studio level paint job. I want to do this Obi-Wan in preferably 1 to 3 hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you since you mentioned studio painting, do you do any of the studios painting, or is that different people, or how does that handle at AMG?
So what we do is we have a bunch of contract uh, painters. We work with a lot of people who freelance and work with us. And if you look at the credits, we put the credits for everybody in the products. Um, so you'll see a lot of the same names. Um, I have painted miniatures for the studio in the past. Usually it's because it's in a pinch or something. Um, all the Grogus were painted by me. Like if you've seen a Grogu in the studio, I painted the Grogus. He's got a very tricky skin tone, and I get to have direct conversations with LFL to make sure I do it right. So I do the Grogus. So if we do another Grogu, I'll paint it. Um, and then poor Din gets farmed out to Brendan or somebody. And Brendan will be like, "Why does you know Grogu with this Din?" And I'll be like, "Oh, you know." But yeah, we have a bunch of amazing freelancers that we work closely with, and they do all the studio stuff.
That's awesome.
So when you're figuring out like the new poses for characters like this, like are you just thinking of things you've seen? Are you thinking of like what the character is meant to be in the game? Like Obi's more defensive, so he's not in like an attack posture here or things like that. What goes into that process for you?
Mm, that's my favorite part of the job, honestly. Um, I'm in the middle of a pretty heavy load of concepting right now, so this is actually a great conversation. Um, because it's really, really fresh, and I'm living it. Um, so what we get usually a product concept from Schick, and it'll be like, Obi-Wan, this is Obi-Wan from episode 2, right? Or episode 3, or the Clone Wars or whatever, right? And then it'll have like a brief up, like outline sort of what his overall vibe is, right?
Hmm.
And then every week I have a meeting with members of my staff, and we just concept. And so like Preston Stone, our art director, he sits down with me, and we both pull up Photoshop and we start sketching ideas. And other people will join in. I usually have somebody from the engineering department will join in because like I might be like, "What about this?" And they're like, "Good Lord, that is too far, my dude." Especially when we're doing like Marvel stuff because my I get to do crazy special effects.
I was gonna say some of
They
those
are,
marbles have some extremely interesting and intricate connection points.
yeah, yeah, it's rad. Um, but so and then we start thinking about like the role and sort of the vibe. And then we also like think about like, well, what is something that is an Obi-Wan pose that's not, the the two fingers with the sword
Right.
up, right? Like we did that for Shatterpoint, right? So we
Mm,
don't want to do it again. Um, the original Legion Obi-Wan was like that. So like how do you still capture that Obi-Wan without that like poster pose, right?
hmm
Right. And so like this was and we might draw like 5, 6, 7, 10 poses, and then we kind of discuss them, right? It's like, okay, well, we really, and then we look at like what else is in the box with them, right? Or what else is the army? Like, okay, well, how's that fit in the army? Like, if you got an army like stormtroopers, we kind of have stormtroopers are more. I always use the word implacable when we're designing stormtroopers. It's like they should feel like a just a inevitable force of nature that's ponderously encroaching upon your life, right? Like I'm not having stormtroopers like beelining across the battlefield, right? They are regimented,
Hmm.
stoic, terrifying entities. So having like characters juking and jiving, right? That might make sense for the specific character, but you also want to think about like how that character fits in with the army, how it fits in with the vibe of the army. Like when Schick and Pagani will talk to y'all about like the sort of what's the word they use? The personality of the army from the
Okay.
gameplay. We do think about that from a miniature perspective, and we try to capture something that's maybe new, but feels like the character. And like this feels like Obi-Wan to me, right?
Right.
He looks very stern, he looks very ready, he's moving forward, he's trying to catch up with Anakin, right? But it's not something you would have seen maybe in a poster or something.
Yeah, I think I can speak for a lot of people where I appreciate the different pose, and it's not Obi in his Clone Wars gear with his two fingers up again because we've already have that. So it's nice to have other options to be able to, get your minis in a different way, which is really nice. That's why I like
Hmm.
one of the things I like about many things I like about MCP, but one of the things is that like Spider-Man, there's quite a few different options for Spider-Man if you want to play that game and you want to play Spider-Man. There's different options of the character itself, so you'll have different unit cards, but you also have like the deluxe base that comes with Doc Ock. Same character, but he's in a completely different pose, so it's really cool to be able to see those dynamic poses shift.
Yeah, yeah, and there's always like a lot of characters. Like I don't want to marvel it up too much, but
No, please.
um like Spider-Man has rules in the studio, right? Everything has rules in the studio. We have rules for like how a Legion miniature is posed over a Shatterpoint pose, right? Shatterpoint is that sort of each squad is sort of a, a oh, what's the word Schick loves to use so much? Tableau. Each squad is like a tableau. So you got the squads fitting, and overall the game is more what we always say is, Shatterpoint's more Saturday morning cartoon, high action, character driven, right?
Yeah.
It's much more, like I always when I play Shatterpoint, I always like want to be like, the Empire has come and taken over, the planet.
The Clone Wars intro to every
Yeah,
episode. Yeah.
that's how when we designed SharePoint, that was what was in our head was like is like what if all Star Wars was like this over the top Saturday morning high action, right? Um, Legion, right, is an army game, right? You have these vast armies, so it's a different vibe, and also like the base sizes, even the base size can dictate what you can do with a miniature, right?
Right.
With a 27 mil base, which is not actually 27 mil because 27 mil is the bottom of the lip, and then there's a slight taper, so it's not quite 27 mil. Shatterpoint, the normal person's on a 40 mil base, right? So, or yeah, so 40 mil base. So you automatically gain so much space to do different poses, right?
Right.
And you can do more dynamic things. You can do more ridiculous stuff. Um, Legion has this little or smaller base, so you have to always think about base size when you're drawing poses. Preston loves drawing big poses, and I'm like, dude, that's 27 mil base. Bring those legs in, right? Like it's not going to work. He's like, come on. I'm like, we don't have a 35 mil base in Legion.
It's funny. You mentioned the dynamic pose and the bases, and one thing that I would love to hear you speak on because we've talked about it off interview is that you'll hear people in the community talk about, oh, there's AMG with their tactical rock. But I want to say two things. One, I appreciate the tactical rocks, not because they're standing on a rock, because there's only so many ways, in my mind at least, you could paint someone standing up on two legs versus when they're jumping off of a rock or a droid head or their jetpack smoke is actually what's tying them to the base or for that, for example. So just kind of speak on that a little bit. How do you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard that term before. And what do you think about that?
Um, I say the tactical rock is an ancient thing utilized by miniature companies for 40 years, 50
Right.
years. Like that's not new to us. It's not unique to us. Um, we don't use it willy-nilly, right? We're not just like ha 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 tactical rock, mustache twirl. Um, it's there's a way back when I first started in the industry, a sculptor told me there's only 7 poses a human body does, right? It's like left arm up, left arm down, right arm up, right arm down, both arms up, both arms down, right? Leg up, leg down, reverse the legs, reverse the arms, right? Turn the head to the left, turn the head to the right. Like and then there's a lot of poses um that don't work, right? Like we all have seen those pictures of like Olympic athletes who are, the perfect examples of human physique, right? But somebody takes a picture right in the middle of a weird jump and they look so silly, right? So we're always thinking about all those things. The tactical rock is there to provide a storytelling a lot of times, right? The new Honda Anako, right? Like
He's got his crate.
this guy's crazy. He's got his booty. Like, what's a pirate without booty? And I like to think about bell curves. Like you can see my
Hmm.
right. So this is like 2 feet on the ground, right?
Right.
And this is somebody like doing a backflip over exploding barrels, right? To me, like the most of your miniatures should be somewhere in here, right? You need that like,
Right.
somebody jogging, somebody like, akimbo, somebody like juking to the left, or even to me like Mandalorians just up in the air on their rockets fits this right here,
Right.
right? And then this is your Throns, right?
Right.
You need a certain number of Throns, right? That are stoic and sort of stationary.
Patiently thinking.
Yeah. And then these are your, somebody doing backflips, right? So you don't want a lot of either one of these. You want a lot of these, but you still want all of it, right?
Right.
And that creates that tableau, that creates that storytelling across. So like going back to like this box, right? That's up on the screen, right?
Hmm.
You have how does Luke work with the rebel troopers and the Wookiees and the commandos, right? That's in the box. So not only do I think about how that box looks together, then we look at like how does the unit look just as a unit, right? Does the unit look good? Okay, the unit looks good. How does that unit look with this unit? Great. How does all this work together? And then less so, how does it look in the whole army? Because there's always going to be outliers in an army.
You're not on the screen. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw it on the screen.
No, you're good.
The army, we got the Rebel Alliance starter set with that awesome Luke Skywalker art.
No, that's it was a great lead into that.
Using that as my background as I paint.
Right.
This is my first time painting on camera, guys, so I'm experimenting here of how to make it look decent for you. But I figured I'd do that with Dallas on the channel because why not compare to him?
Got to set that bar.
Yeah, we're not being compared to each other here. We're not in a competition.
It's true. We're friendly hobby time right now.
That's right. We are on different points of the same journey.
Can I also say that I love how many Duros and Twilight and Moncal heads you gave us for the Rebels and not just human heads, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean that's something that we're really thinking about as well. Like, um, you're not going to see a Moncal head in the Imperial boxes, probably. Sorry, Imperial players, like, but
That's
they're
okay.
not into
We just
that.
pretend it's under the helmet.
But it's that's the interesting, fun part of Star Wars is like all those like when you look at the rebels in the movies or the shows, and you just see all those background aliens. They
Hmm.
might not be the main characters, but they're in the army. And this is Star Wars Legion, right? It's there's some alien heads in there.
I want that big furry alien that's the partisan from Rogue One. The
Oh, the um what's one of his names?
I can't remember what it's called.
Oh my God,
He
Preston
carried
gets
the
so mad at me.
backpack to steal the kyber crystals from the blown up tank.
He was good.
Yeah, that'd be a cool miniature.
Yes, yeah, those would be great. A Talz, Talz, Talz.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever you both say. You know what I want? I would love to see what you guys sculpt with Gungans, for example.
You just reset the clock,
I
buddy.
know Will's gonna yell at me like that's okay.
Yeah, you just reset the clock.
Man, I'm so sorry, guys. We're never gonna get Gungans at this rate.
Um, I mean, you know, y'all have interviewed Chick, and Chick and I always say, right, on a long enough timeline, right, we want to do everything. Um, it's it's the it's that's the fun part of like what these kind of games, right? Is to me these kind of games, miniature games, is what's so fascinating with me is the storytelling part, right? I get to I get to do something between what I say between the scenes,
Hmm.
right? I'm not recreating battles with my Legion games. I'm creating new battles. I'm
Right.
creating new stories, right? Um, and it's so much fun to be able to have like all the your favorite things on the table, right? Like, we still don't have my favorite stuff in Legion, right?
Your favorite stuff.
Well, dude, give me witches riding rancors is
Oh,
Oh, some
like
death mirroring. That'd be cool.
shit. Sick right now if he's watching is screaming at me. Like he's like, I know you say it every day. Like, dude, drop it. But like, but like,
I feel like
but
you got some pull there, Dallas. You got to start working that.
I've spent my pull on other things.
we talked about
Yeah, I only get so many. But it's the goal is always like, eventually, we want to do everything and have everybody's favorite thing on the table because that's the fun of it is
Right. But
it
but
takes time,
yeah,
right?
it's tough to just have everyone's favorite going, and I'm sure we know it takes years to go from the concept of a new unit to testing to making it,
producing it.
us. So it's got to be tough to
Well,
figure out
yeah.
who gets to get in and who gets to stay out.
Well, I mean that's the thing is like, you guys are jonesing for Obi-Wan, right? And I'm like, man, this is old news.
Yeah,
Like,
you do
really?
live in the future.
Like Obi-Wan, what am I doing? Come on. This guy was concepted so long ago.
We were looking forward. Will, when we interviewed him at Gen Con, he mentioned there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up for your next mini strap in November. So we're looking forward to seeing what surprises you guys have for us there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you'll really enjoy Mini Strap. I just recently saw the roadmap for that. So
Oh, wow.
um be ready. It's gonna be super exciting. And that's like the other thing to remember is like we're like you said, we're working in the future. So like I'm working on stuff that is so far away, right? Like it- you have no idea what we're working on, right? So
Right.
it could be the thing you want.
For sure. Now, when you talk about like being the the head creative of AMG and stuff, how do you the studio as a whole go into figuring out when, let's say, we want to make, let's use Hondo as an example. We're gonna do Hondo. Do you guys start with like play mechanics? Do you start with miniatures? Do you kind of run them tandem and then figure out the pose based off the play? Like, how does that kind of process unfold behind the scenes?
Hmm. So everything starts with like just a simple you know, like overarching concept, right? Like Hondo Naka, 27 mil base. Hondo's a mercenary. He juices up some pirates and can be included in these armies, right?
Hmm.
Like, right? And that's kind of what I start with. Like shit gives that to me, and then we actually start with the miniature first. The miniature gets concepted first. So we come up with the pose, we come up with the alternate parts, we come up with like, maybe I do something wild and I'm like, okay, well, what if this also had this with it, right? Or, you know, what if we did this too? Like, what if instead of this character, we do these two characters together, right? Or whatever. And I work with Chick on that. And then that simultaneously goes to development and sculpting, right? But sculpting first, because sculpting, the timeline for sculpting is so long. Like that's because that's what gets into production and that's what gets into engineering and all that stuff. So the miniature gets sculpted and everything before dev takes hold and starts their process. And then they'll look at the sculpt and look at what was concepted and look at what Schick wrote in the description. And then that's how they start coming up with the rules.
It's pretty cool.
And every now and then they throw me for a loop and they're like, we did this. And I'm like, oh, how can we integrate that right now this late in the game?
I was say, do you ever have where kind of what you just said, like you guys have a sculpt, you already have alternate heads, but they found some cool new mechanic for the game or some new ability, and you're like, well, now I kind of want to adjust the sculpt. Has that kind of ever happened in the past of the design process?
It's very, very rare because just the design, the sculpt is so far past before dev. Like, but you never know. Sometimes we can squeeze something.
Um, so we've been watching you do Obi here. You start with the face and all that stuff. Do you do you always start with the face and skin? Do you kind of just pick where you start on the model? What's your painting how to for us who are not that great of painters?
I'm a definitely a dress my dolly kind of person, if that makes sense. Like I dress my doll. Look, there's my war dollies. Like I'm not ashamed. Um, those are my war dollies.
Okay.
I dress my dollies. I always start with the face because I want to establish personality and I want to establish personality and character first. And the face is so vital. And it's where I'm going to spend the most of my time. There's a very old adage in miniatures, faces and bases, right? You make a good face, you make a killer looking base, you got awesome looking miniature, right? Faces and bases. Those are because it's both your story. It's the two things that tell the most story. Look at, I can paint Obi-Wan's face to look less stern or more stern, right? With a proper application of a shadow
Mhm.
or highlight, right? You've seen it. You've seen somebody paint two people paint the same miniature and they have different vibes,
Right.
right? So I want to establish the vibe. I'm going to spend a lot of time here because that's also that point of focal, right? Those two T's. That
Right.
second T is the face. I want to draw all your attention there. So I'm going to spend all my time there because that's what I want you looking at. And then the rest of it's just going to be a little more loosey goosey, have funsies. Then
Yeah.
the base is your second part of your story, right? Um, my Empire army, right? I want to make sure that the base tells a story. So I got all these like little rocks. There'll be like little grass bits. There's like some little busted up stuff, right? So I want to think about this base versus this base and how to tell that story, right? This is your story element. So that's why
Right.
faces and bases is so important. So yes, I typically start with face, spend my time there, establish personality, character, and then I just work from my inside out. So like next I'll do like the inner robe, and then I'll do the outer robe, then I'll do the belts, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned how like people can paint miniatures differently, and I think I did something recently, and I posted them to our socials if anyone's seen them. But Iron Fist from MCP, I didn't have
Yeah.
all that skin tone working, so I painted him in his old school green costume with the yellow highlights, so it made it look like.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good example of you guys sculpted it to be shirtless, but there's no a little paint, and it
Right.
looks like he's wearing his tights.
Well, I mean, well, especially in the Marvel stuff, like they're, you know, Marvel like comic characters are drawn, effectively naked, right? Like it's all anatomy, right? It's all pecs and
Right.
biceps, and you can see all that. So that, yeah, it's very easy to have fun and do some fun stuff with that, and you know, paint something to look like cloth, or like I do a lot of cloth additives on mine, actually. So like I might paint something that was traditionally skinned, like a black undersuit, because I think it looks kind of cool, and like I don't know, I'm a 90s dork, right? Like I lived through that edgy time period. So
Think a lot of us did.
I'm like, look how tactical this person is.
So you often have to paint, you know, cinema accurate characters. Do you get to do like fun paint jobs where you get to paint completely different? I know you showed the Imperial agent you did that was in all black.
Yeah, he showed it on the
He
AMG
showed
radio.
us to that. So is it do you get to do like could you make a Sith Obi-Wan sometime or do you always kind of stick with the normal canonized versions?
I do all kinds of stuff. You know what? Can- I'm not gonna change my screen. I'm gonna keep talking the whole time, but the screen's gonna be dead. So you might want to switch it over to the other cool screen where things are
Okay,
actually
okay,
happening. And I'm gonna jump over here. I have a whole collection of miniatures.
okay.
You asked, so I'm gonna open my
Hey,
case.
I want to see it.
I'm gonna open my case. Where are they at? Right, there's one. Yes, that one I want for sure. And then, oh, he might be actually behind me. Oh, no, there he is. And then this one. And then, what's another one I did? The way the conversation is going. I'm just saying words right now and filling airspace. This is what we do. This is how you,
While you're looking, I'll kind of talk about what I'm doing here with mine.
yeah.
This is like my, I don't even know, seventh or eighth Rebel unit. The second one for the new sculpts, though. So that's why I wanted to do them again. But the kind of what we're going for, guys, we're going for kind of this like brownish green. It's from the, in the AMP lines, and then it's this kind of Creed camo jacket. I'm going to do some kind of tan undershirt. We're going to kind of have that kind of traditional black or brown and green tannish kind of rebel trooper unit. And they're going to be running through the forest. I'm going to do, like you mentioned, I like my bases are probably one of my favorite parts doing miniature. So I put like little bits of rocks and grass and mud, and I'll kind of put some up on like the cuffs of the pants, on the boots, and then I'll sometimes for the lead I'll add like a broken stormtrooper helmet or some blaster bits or maybe a if it's a clone, I'll add some pieces of Droid B1s. I have tons of. I'll chop some up, put them in the base. So it kind of looks like they're running through the battle. So that's kind of this is the kind of scheme we're going through here, and I'm just kind of doing what I like to call what most people call batch painting, where I'm just taking one color at a time and putting on every minion in the army that's going to have that color, so I don't have to keep coming back to them. So that's why you're seeing me cycle through many different Rebel Trooper poses and adding this green on at this point because we're going for that same kind of tone. But I'm mixing it up. So he's got the brown pants with the green undershirt, where he has the brown pants with the green overcoat. I'll do a different undershirt there. And then to just complete the mix up, this guy's got green pants with the brown undercoat.
Well, he's
So
a real rebel.
yeah, so we're kind of just using these same three basic colors to kind of start our base tones, and then we'll kind of explore from there. But this way, they're kind of, even though they're rebels, they're kind of uniform. So when I'm looking at my unit, instead of just having to have the rim of the base color differently, I'll be able to identify what unit they go to. Clones, it's easier for me to identify because I can paint them like these are my 501st clones, so we can see really easily who they are. But anyways, that's kind of my thought process behind what I'm doing.
All
So
right.
do you paint the bases different for the unit? Is that what you said? Or do you just use identifiers on the I use identifiers on the miniature. So like a shoulder pad will be a different color or
So for the original, because I was really new into painting with the original Legion Core set. So for that, like if you look at my old Rebels, they all look very similar, but they have different colored bases. You know, the rim of the bases would be like green, black, brown. But for
right.
better, I bases are almost always black, and I do different things. Like this Rebel Trooper is going to have this dark green and this color brown on them somewhere, whereas my other
Hmm.
Rebel Troopers are going to be a much more light brown kind of sand looking. For clones, I do exactly what you described, where this is the 501st, so they're all going to have some kind of blue marking. This is the 212th, so they're all going to have some kind of like orangish brown marking.
Orange parking, yeah.
Just depends on it. I like to do that more than the bases, but when I started, it was definitely like everyone's a certain brown and green because I didn't have as many paints and I was new, and then the brim gets different colors. So it's just funny if you look at my old stuff on the channel versus the new stuff, how much it's changed.
You can always go back and add like a little armband color or something to designate them and re-black all those bases and tie it all together.
Yeah, I've done that a little bit with my original 212 stuff was a bright orange. It wasn't like the kind of brownish orange, kind of mustardy orange, you know, that the 212 is. So I went through
Hmm.
and I mixed up a bottle of paints that I still have somewhere over here that is just for all my 212 stuff right here. And I went through and redid all the oranges on all the old units so that way they all matched better because it was driving me crazy that they weren't matching. It was like five different shades of orange depending on where I painted them. So yeah, so definitely done stuff like that. And I do want to go through some of my old stuff and rebase some of it too to match more of my new kind of style. But yeah, it's always fun to kind of go back and because you don't have to redo the whole mini, so it's a little faster project, but it's very satisfying.
It's very satisfying. It's very satisfying to update. Like I said, I painted three ATSTs and but I didn't have an Imperial Army when I painted it because I was waiting for plastic stormtroopers. I was like, I will start an Empire Army when I have plastic stormtroopers, but ATSTs are my favorite thing in the world, so I'm going to paint three of them. Um, and so I based them, and now I'm actually working on my Empire Army segue. Um, Now I'm actually painting my Empire Army, and I've established what my bases are. So I have to rebase all three of those ATSTs. And the other thing I have to do is this is my final stormtrooper. Like this is my
Hmm.
is he in focus?
I like his
And
color.
Yeah.
yeah, and I painted him on stream last year at Mini Straff as just a fun thing.
Hmm.
Okay.
And I decided this is it. This is what I want to do for a whole army. So now I'm painting a whole army. So they're all dark gray. Everybody's like it's very Bad Batch. Um, and they have bone shoulders, and then they have these red accents. So of course now, right, like I showed you, I had to rip the base off this, but now this ATST needs red accents,
Yeah.
right? And then the other fun thing I did is because um, I'm focusing very much on stormtroopers. I had to make a stormtrooper commander
To put in the top.
instead, yeah, instead of Mark One.
Yeah.
So,
That's
so
super
I
cool.
had to convert this up out of the occupier tank
Right.
driver
Ah,
That's pretty clever.
because I just want stormtroopers. Like I don't want anything but stormtroopers in this. So this goes into the question, right? Do I get to do fun stuff? So I have a dark gray with red accent stormtrooper army.
Hmm.
Um, I've painted two Shatterpoint Grievuses.
Ooh, I like the Sith Grievous there.
Yeah, he's got like a kabuki mask, kind of like the bone armor with red accents,
Uh,
that looks good.
and just completely different vibes, right?
right.
And then I posted this a while back. So my favorite character in Star Wars is Anakin. Like I just love the story of Anakin and
Hmm.
going from to Darth Vader.
Right.
So I wanted to pose the question like,
Wow.
what if at the end of Return of the Jedi, Anakin was redeemed? So this is my redeemed Anakin. So this would be after Jedi. He's taken up the white.
Hmm.
armor and the Jedi robes, but of course it's still, he's still been damaged and hurt, and then he's rebuilding the 501st out of stormtroopers. So I have 501st stormtroopers to go with him.
That's awesome.
So I love little stories and playing with the miniatures and just having fun and just, like I said, playing between the scenes, right? Like
Right.
uh that's the fun of miniature games for me, right? I get to participate in the world, right?
Yeah. I did that with one of the Shadow Collective Darth Mauls because we got three starters with Shadow Collective. So one of them I did like the light side Darth Maul, so he had the Jedi robe coloring and the blue lightsabers.
Hmm.
So that was cool.
I think Schick did
I do
on
have a.
stream. Schick did a Dark Side Ahsoka on stream
Oh,
before.
really? I don't know that I saw that. That's super cool.
Yeah, yeah. I've done some weird ones. I'm trying to think what's in my because a lot of my stuff that I do on stream is in my office and in my actual at work. I
Yeah.
have a case of miniatures there of stuff I've done, but I'm trying to think what's some of the real odd ones we've done. I know we did Pink Jammies Yoda. Schick did that one too.
Can't go wrong with that.
So should this be Sith Obi-Wan? Should I do Sith Obi-Wan?
Why not? It seems fun. I've always wanted, if I ever got into a clone army, I was going to do like a Sith clone army. Like everyone would be dark side. So I would go like a black and gray color scheme for the clones and red accents and stuff like that was my if I ever do clones, that was what I was thinking of doing with them.
He was going to do clones, and he played one game on the channel, literally one game, Dallas. He lost. He was like, "I'm never doing clones again." I was like, "Oh, stop it.
Oh, stop.
That's not."
All right, let's do Sith. Let's have fun. So I love we'll paint some black. I have I'm gonna use a mix. I like having mixes of my own colors. So I'll just mix up my own color. This is a blue that I mixed up, and I mixed up a whole bottle of it. That's like another trick for you, right? Like if you let's say you paint a lot of clones, right? And you're like, well, what I do is I take titanium white and I take like 5 drops of this blue and I mix that together and that's my clone color. I do the same thing, right? And I'll just make up a whole bottle of
Right.
it, right? So when I paint black, I like going blue. We're just gonna kind of highlight
The
with
blue
this
does come through
first.
really nice.
Yeah, this is just a lot of turquoise and blues mixed together. It's just a color that I like.
So you mentioned a lot of this is what you get to play with, and you're starting your Empire army. What is your army of choice?
So my first stuff I painted for Legion was Shadow Collective. I love um I love those pike soldiers so much. I think the miniatures are just some of the coolest dang miniatures, and I love swoop bike so much. Um, but I didn't paint a whole lot. I think I only painted like what 600 points in the old in
Right.
in first edition, and then like now and then I switched to clones. I'm like, because I love clones.
And Anakin,
A whole and Anakin.
apparently.
But the funny thing is in my clone army, there's no Jedi's because like I'm like it's all clones because the clones are the best. Like I just love the clones so much. Uh, and then for Spec Ops, I did droids, and you might have seen those. We posted them. They're like red and black droids.
Yeah.
which were super fun to paint. Um, I haven't done Rebels, and now I'm switching to Empire, and I think Empire because it's because of ATSTs.
I mean, ATSTs are pretty fun. And with Veers being so cheap and you just want to bring an ATST with them, I've been bringing a lot more ATSTs lately than I used to.
Okay, you can't just
True.
say Veers. You can't just be like Veers and just say it so plain. That man's name is Maximilian. Okay, like like let's not drop the Max. Like your name is Maximilian. Like you need to say like that's Maximilian Veers. Like and put a little stank on it, like
He
Maximilian
he earned
Veers.
it, I guess.
He did.
He did.
Look, he says maximum firepower.
I mean,
It is
that's like his whole line. He even got a
because his
card out of it.
name is Maximilian.
There you go.
Oh,
God,
that's great.
I love Veers so much too. Oh,
He is fun. I can't wait to see his new sculpt
In person, you mean?
in person. I mean, I've seen the pictures, but like I want it. It's
uh,
another face I have to paint though, and faces are always tough for me.
use one of those alternate heads from customizable commander, yo.
Oh, there you go. I feel like I'm gonna have to buy like 5 or 6 of the droid one and just give everybody robot legs.
Dude,
The Spider
yes.
Droid Army.
Yeah.
I definitely was like um talk about going back and revisiting collections. I'm a firm believer in an army is never done. You have to go back and revisit it every few years and like touch up the paint jobs or like be like, you know what? The commander I painted, 5 years ago, I'm a much better painter or I have a new idea. I'm going to redo it, right? So I get a new miniature. I never strip a miniature because I'm a firm believer in watermarks. Like I love having two things that I painted separate, years apart. So I
Hmm.
could be like, wow, look at that. I changed it and I'm so much better. Um, it, it, but for me, I just enjoy that feeling. Um, but wait, what the heck was I talking about? Why are we talking about this?
Um,
What did y'all, what did y'all do to me? Maximilian
We went on a
Veers.
Veers
yeah, we were on the
tangent.
Veers
You were
tangent.
talking about what armies you're
Oh
picking, how you
yeah.
switch to stormtroopers and ATSTs.
Oh yeah, the spider legs. I was like, do I rip the legs off all these B1s for spec ops and to give them all spider legs so I have a whole
Just a whole spider-legged army of B1s.
oh boy, how grand would that be?
That would be
That
pretty
would
cool,
be
actually.
pretty great. Just the skittering noises as they march across the field, inspiring
Oh,
terror.
I was not going to build a droid army for Legion, and then we did Grievous on the wheel bike, and I was in a dev meeting, and I was like, if I don't get a battle force where I can take more wheel bikes than should be legally allowed by law, I'm going to be so mad at you all. And so wheel bikes are the reason I'm going to be building a droid army. It's just like wheel bikes and whatever else fits in that battle force,
So
right?
it's just the battle force is just Grievous on a wheel bike and then 10 other units of wheel bikes.
Ugh, just how glorious would it be?
That sounds awesome.
Have you got a chance to play a good amount of games with the wheel bike and how it works and such?
I have not. I have not.
I'm looking forward to getting that one on the table. It looks
You
so
mean
cool.
getting overrun by them?
Well, if you're playing, I'll just kill it, but I want to try it too.
Yeah, wow.
That was
I'm just
unnecessary.
joking, buddy. A little bit.
A little bit. They seem pretty deadly.
I'm not looking forward to a fast moving Grievous if that's what you're asking. That's gonna be scary to deal with.
You don't want a commander that can just be in your back line like right
No,
away?
not really.
Yes,
Sounds
I
great to
do.
me. I mean,
It sounds amazing.
I really want a commander who's gonna have a grand army.
Lisa got a grand
You didn't say that. That's you. That's all me. But
Uh,
yeah.
What would even go in a Gungan army?
You get Gungan troopers are your basic standard, troopers. Kind of, I vision them like Ewoks. You have some with spears, some with their little throwy orb things, and then you can have some supports where they're riding. I'm so sorry, I don't know those creatures' names. They're riding the creatures.
The
mhm,
the Kadu
Yeah,
cavalry.
mhm.
you have some of those as your support. Um,
I want the giant dinosaur with the giant shield
oh, that
pack
would
on
look
its
freaking
back.
gangly. But like, you could
I
also
mean,
those big
that thing is
catapults.
out of scale for Legion.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
but you could have those catapults as your heavies. Like, there's enough there, and then you could also do something similar they did with the you guys did with the Bright Tree, where you have to bring like a couple members of the Naboo court, so like Padme could be in it or something. I don't know. It'd be fun to. I just want a grand army, so people come to my house like, oh man, it's Gungans again. I'm good. You are gonna lose.
Big
Oh God, I hope it never happens.
boomas.
I want to throw all the big boomas, and I want Jar Jar with some ridiculous abilities, where it's just like completely gets on your nerves and your opponent's nerves because like all luck based, like
It's just like roll the white defense dice. If you get paint, something really bad happens to the opponent. If not, it bad happens
yeah,
to
just
you.
like it's just fun. Like I want it to be super themey.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. I know some people hate Gundams, but I always enjoyed Gundams growing up. The original prequel movies were kind of what we grew up on, if you will. Like, that was coming out when we were younger. I love the original
Mhm.
four, if I'm being honest, but I do love me some prequels.
I mean, I love the prequels as well. I'm I'm not against Gungans. Like I said, Chick and I have always said on a long enough timeline, we want to give everybody what they want, right?
Right. I mean, we can put the Dathomiri witches way before Gungans though,
Stop it.
because that seems like a lot more fun.
Dude, just I'm a sucker for witches just in general. Like
Right.
Mother Talzin, like I think Mother Talzin's so cool. That miniature for Shatterpoint is so
Yeah,
awesome
she's really
looking.
cool.
But yeah, once I saw Dathomiri witches on rank course, I was just like losing my mind, and I will not shut up about it in any.
Uh, so
Every time I go to look
coming
at the
soon to Shatterpoint.
schedule, every time I go to look at the schedule with Shaq, I'm just like, so Dathomiri witches on rank course, right?
He has to eye roll you so hard at that point.
That would be pretty cool.
Oops. So now we're just blackening him up that blue, so you get that. And then the underclothes and the pants and the belt will be done in a gray black. So yeah, it's still black, but you got that contrast, right?
Mhm. Joe taught me to never paint in true black.
No, there's always a time and place for it. I tend to use what I call chromatic blacks as well. So I always throw a little blue or green or magenta down in my blacks when I'm doing those deep blacks.
Yep, I agree.
So
But I never say never though.
yeah. So what's your go-to tips for people who are just getting into the game for painting or people who have been painting for a while and don't really get better?
Oh, people have been paying for one. Don't really go back. Um, um, I would say live by the 15 minutes a day will change your life, right?
Hmm.
Like you can always find 15 minutes, right? Maybe that means not. Maybe that means watching one less TV show, right? Maybe that means um, you know, not looking at social media for we I actually have mine on a timer, so mine actually tells me like, yo, you've hit your 1 hour, like, and then I'm pretty good at like being like, yeah, it's been an hour for a day. Um, so you can always find 15 minutes. I always say also like once you sit down and commit to 15 minutes, you're going to end up painting for 30 minutes to an hour. Like,
Right.
because you're just going to get in the flow and you're going to realize how much fun you're having, right? Paint every night, ask a lot of questions. and learn to love to fail, right? I have painted miniatures since 1992, and I have a lot of failures. I have a lot of really bad paint jobs. I have a lot of stuff that I started and been like, I don't feel it. It's not very good. It gets set aside. Um, Not very many because I do believe in finishing, like just finish. Just focus on one project at a time, right? So that might be one unit of clones, then I'm going to do Obi-Wan, then I'm going
Mm.
to do my next unit of clones, then I'll do my unit of arcs, then I'll do Anakin, right? Okay, now I got a pretty solid start to my army. Boom, I'm adding in the saber tank or something like that. And one project at a time, and just be okay with failing. I always tell my kid growing up, like I'm like, you can't learn by winning,
Right.
right? There's no lesson in winning, right? If you just do something and you win, you don't know why you won, right? You have no idea how that win came to be. If I lose few times and I adjust my tactics and I ask somebody with expertise and specialization, and I'm like, I tried this and it didn't work. What did I do wrong? And they're like, oh, this is what I see, right? They might not be 100% accurate, but they might lead me down a path that makes me adjust my brain, makes me adjust my thought process, makes me adjust my approach that leads me to success. And then I go, okay, I succeeded and I know why I succeeded, which lets me go, okay, I can succeed more by applying more techniques, by more lessons, right? And by failing again. I'm going to keep failing until I win.
That is a good theory. I just batch um
You can say it. Come on.
based. Yeah, base painted like 11 stormtroopers and all
Mhm.
the new Shatterpoint box with Riff and the Aqua droids, and I forgot what else was in there. Now I'm like, I have so much stuff to paint now.
Oh, you mean you primed them all?
Yes,
You
primed.
batch
Not
primed.
not yeah, batch primed
That's
at
what you're
all.
trying to say.
That's what I was looking for.
Gotcha.
But sometimes you just look at that pile of shame and go, oh, where do I start?
And it's not a pile of shame though, right? You have to reframe your thought process. That's a pile of potential.
That's true.
That is nothing but pure potential, right?
Alice is the reading rainbow of miniature
Yeah,
painting.
very, very, very
I
positive
like it.
guy. I like it.
The
I think
so
I have one unit of scouts left to paint, and I think I'm gonna go with like a frost frozen camouflage look to them because I have the regular ones. I have one that's like a forest green one with some blue accents, but I want like a cold weather scout unit.
Makes sense.
believe in the me that believes in you. And I think the one fun thing about mentors is like it is possible for everybody to achieve a level of their goals, right? And your goal doesn't have to all be the same, right? I have friends who their goal is to be the greatest miniature painter in the world, right? That doesn't gotta be your goal, right? Your
Right.
goal can just be I want to paint this unit. And I want to paint it to a level that when I go to the game store and I put it on a table, like people go, oh hell yeah, that looks great. Right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna win an award. Once again, it's the destiny of the miniature. It's what are you trying to get out of it? And accepting that, you know, it's not for competition, it's not for display, it's not for a box. I'm not painting this for any of that. I'm painting this to have fun and chat with some folks and have, you know, make some new friends,
Hmm.
right? All it's gotta be is cool enough for me. It ain't gotta be cool enough for you. It's gotta be cool enough for me. It's just gotta bring me my joy right now.
Right.
Now, if I was painting a competition measure, that'd be different, right? That's a you're painting for a different thing.
A different mindset, totally.
Yeah. So as long as you're getting out of it what you're at the beginning setting, as long as you set the expectations at the beginning for what the goal of the measure is, you're succeeding. Like you want to paint this unit, you got the unit painted 3 colors up, right? That's all you did. 3 colors up, base shade wash, boom. And is that your goal? And did you have fun doing it? And you did it. That's the cool part. You did it, right?
Right.
I didn't do it. A robot didn't do it. You sat down and you did it. You took an idea from your mind that is a very ephemeral, metaphysical kind of thought, and you applied it with patience and some practice, and you did it. And to me, that's automatically more successful than 90% of anything else that we could be doing.
Right.
You brought that to life, and I think that that's amazing. And that's what brings us together for these little these games.
Right.
You know, a game is going to take what? How long is a game, Legion? 2 hours, right? Hour and a half, 2 hours. I play real slow. Um, but my Obi-Wan's going to take me 3 hours.
Right. And that's just one Obi-Wan.
Yeah, my clones are going to take me 2 hours, 3 hours for the whole unit, right? Because I'm going
Right.
to batch paint them real fast, right? So you're going to spend so much more time painting the miniature. That's why I like communal painting, is like hanging out. It's not just a lonely thing. It's like jamming ideas. Me being like, oh, what if you throw a blue wash on that or a gray wash on that blaster before your black wash? You're like, oh, I've never tried that. And you do it, and you're like, whoa, holy cow, thanks. And you're like, why don't you paint your Obi-Wan like a Sith Obi-Wan? I'm like, well, I wasn't gonna plan on doing that, but that's a great idea. I love it. Right.
I like that. I think we've only ever painted together one time, me and Joe,
It's because we use all our time to film stuff.
many moons ago. For I think I painted my Royal Guards, RIP, a long time ago with you.
Yeah.
Oh, it happens.
I do enjoy painting clones more than Rebel Troopers, and everyone always laughs at me, and I've gotten comments about this in my videos. I find white painting at this point, because I've painted so many clones, to be easy. I have their formula down, if you will. But Rebel Troopers have holsters and backpacks and straps and ammo and 3 layers of shirts, so they always take a little bit longer for me than a clone trooper.
I would agree with that. I super enjoy painting the colors black and white. Um, because I don't paint with either one of those colors. Like I'm not using black and I'm not using white to paint black and white.
Yep.
I like finding all the little colors in between to like tell the story itself. And also the more gribbles, the slower it takes me, right? The longer it takes me. So like, yeah, the pouch and the buckle and the strap and the backpack and the canteen. Like I'm like, that's so much work. I'm like, just give me something with one solid armor done.
Yep. That's 100% sure. I've painted so many clones coming back to the new Rebel sculpts, which are much better, but I feel like they even have more little bits, which is good for looking at. But when painting, you're like, oh, I need to do that one something different too to make it stand out and pop. So it's just a different level of painting. That's why I mentioned on the video that I feel like clone stormtroopers are easier than Rebel troopers. People are like, don't say white's easy, and I'm trying to explain that. Like you, I don't paint in pure white. I paint in usually light grays with a little bit of blue or etc. And then it comes off and reads white, right?
Yep, that's the secret of painting white. You know, like my clones, what I do for my clones is I will I zenith them. I use an airbrush. You don't have to use an airbrush. Airbrushes aren't cheating. Airbrushes are just a tool. Um, and trust me, like once you use an airbrush and you clog it, you won't think it's cheating because you're gonna spend 2 hours cleaning that damn airbrush.
100%.
Um,
Yeah. Mine blew up on me and sprayed paint all over today, so it was fun.
Oh yeah, that happens too. But like I just zenith them and then I use a different then I use like different grays. I just kind of watercolory, wishy-washy, emotional paint. And then I come in with that white at the very end. I'm just like boop, 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 boop. I'm like, looks like white clones to me.
Just grab a couple highlights and you're great to go. Yeah. He taught me his clone troopers to paint my stormtroopers, and so my stormtroopers have greatly increased in quality since my original batch that I did.
Well, like you were saying, Dallas, it's some of the pros about painting with people, or at least having a group you talk to, is you learn things. When I first started my first batch of fleet troopers, I tried using just pure white from the pot on a helmet. One, it was thick and gross, and two, it wasn't like didn't look good. And then I learned slowly from different tips and tricks. I'll start with like a light gray, work your way up, do thin coats, and then my second batch of Fleet Troopers looks just levels better than the first. But I keep them. I keep them both.
It's true.
Yeah, keep them both. My first miniature I painted was a long time ago, and no one told I didn't know it because I didn't have him. I grew up in a real small town in Missouri. I didn't have anybody to learn, and there's no internet, right? And so I just started painting, and I'm just slapping paint straight on the miniature, and I'm like, this isn't sticking. What's going on? And then I find a magazine like a scale modelers magazine. And I like read through it, and they're like, prime the miniature. I'm like, prime? What?
What an important step.
Why did people that don't exist in my life not tell me this important information?
Where was that class in high school?
Oh man, miniature painting classes in high school wouldn't that have been great?
Oh man, that would have been awesome. What game got you into miniatures?
I mean, it's the same thing that everybody starts out with. We all start with those with Warhammer, stuff like that, right? It's classic um
I mean,
story.
they are the beginning for many people. We both started with Legion. We started with X-Wing, but you didn't have to paint X-Wing.
Yeah, we were like, we're never going to play Legion because you have to paint. And then you guys announced or FFG at the time announced the Clone Wars box was coming in a year plus. And so we both were like, we're going to wait. And then the next day we end up getting the
Yeah,
original core sets and started painting them. And
right.
it's just snowballed since then.
And did you ever repaint any of the X-Wings though? I love repainting
I did towards
those.
once I started dipping my toe in Legion because we were still playing X-Wing pretty much. I started going through and like I dirtied up a lot of the ships, like the Outrider, because it's my favorite ship in Star Wars is the Outrider. And then I started adding different squadron markings to the A-wings to give them some green and some purples and stuff. So I did a little bit of
Hmm.
that towards the very end, but not in the beginning.
Yeah, it's a
You,
lot of
you,
fun.
you up the X-wings at all?
Do what?
Did you paint the X-wings at all too? Did you repaint them?
Yeah. We did some on stream. Yeah,
Nice.
had a whole theme around some mercenaries. Oh, look at this. Obi-Wan Kenobi's evil twin,
I
Kobe One Denobi.
like it.
Okay, one to know.
I like that you went black with the hair. He's got that emo look now.
Yeah,
There's never a
I'll
fade.
give him.
Little lifestyle.
He's even got the little scritches, so it looks a little rough,
Yeah.
little harder.
He had a harder life than Obi-Wan for sure.
But it's not easy growing up in those Imperial, you know, barracks. That
Right?
is the wrong color, not pink. I want orange. Orange for red lightsabers. Always do orange for red lightsabers first,
Interesting.
or yellow.
I paint a lot of red lightsabers, but I'm usually going for speed, so it's just straight red for me.
No, he's gonna teach
I
you
know
guys.
he's
Paint,
teaching me for sure.
Yeah,
you know,
we're
paint
gonna do we're gonna do some of this off white and yellow. And we're gonna paint it yellow first.
makes sense. Now he looks like he's out of Knights of the Old Republic back in the day when I ran around with my yellow lightsaber everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Knights of the Old Republic, isn't it?
My favorite current miniature that I kit bashed was I took the Jedi Guardian from the ARF Trooper box and I put a Phase One clone helmet on him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just and he has two single lightsabers pointing different ways. I feel like he's like that he's the clone of Legends. He's the one you talked about. He's
They're
Stormblast
like,
distance.
yeah, they're like that guy right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The clones are losing and he appears over the arch just in the nick of time on the on the fourth day and they're like, we got this, boys, let's go.
You're mixing
Have to
all
let
the
that dry.
nerds together.
Yeah, that's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what you all build for your customized commanders. Like,
Yeah, we can't wait to get them either. We're super excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my
Yeah.
hands on those.
We're a lot jealous of all of the overseas countries that already have them in hand and get to play with them already.
don't blame me.
Hey, I'm not blaming you.
I don't even know what's out. That stuff was years ago in my mind.
Oh my gosh. It's got to be so crazy to to be that far ahead, but also have to chat with us normal people who only know the things that are out and the things that have been teased.
Do you have to check yourself, Dallas? Like, what is out and what isn't out before I talk to them about these things?
Oh, dude. Okay, so I mean, you all chatted with me at Gen Con, right?
Yep.
Huh?
I had, people coming up and chatting at Gen Con, right? They come up and they're like, oh man, and then they name something, and I'm sitting there like, how do they know that? I'm like, I'm like, wait, is that out? Wait, did we announce that? Wait, was that a mini show? And I'm just like, and so I'm like scrutinizing their face while they're talking, like, is this a trap? Are they
You trying to
trapping
get me
me?
to say that Gungans are coming?
Yeah, what is the goal here? Like, I don't know. Did we announce that? Like, wait, did we even sculpt that? Am I insane? Like,
That's got to be it's got to be interesting for sure. I can't imagine how difficult it is to keep track of that.
I think Pagani always talks about dev brain, right? Because like when somebody asks a question about a rule, and he's like, man, there is like 8 versions of that rule inside my head. Like that's not just a thing. It's like it's 8 things. I What version are we talking about here?
What version are you guys playing on right now?
That's a good point.
What version made it to print? Because it's hard, it is hard to keep track of it is hard to keep track for I mean, I'm sure somebody out there is just like, no, actually it's very quite easy. I carpentum car, carpentable. I can't even say it.
John can
They
relate
s-
more.
Yeah, yeah.
they section it off and then they just know, and I'm like, I don't know. When you
Compartmentalized. That's what we
compartmentalize.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't do that. I'm just like having fun sculpting little, well, I don't sculpt, but you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Well, as we're
Then
coming close to the end of our time here, anything else
okay.
you think of to tell the folks that you want to share about the design process, about the creative process? Any, I always end with this, don't feel obligated. I do this with Chick every time. Any spoilers you want to give? Anything else you want to say in the next, let's say 5, 10 minutes before we wrap up here?
I have not been given any permission to give any sort of spoilers.
That is fair. That
That's
is
totally
fair.
fair.
So I'm just going to say that um, the two of the starters drop tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
this
get
will probably
Rebel and
go live
Empire.
tomorrow on purpose for the starters. So hey guys, the starters drop today.
Yeah. Right now, I mixed a little orange and yellow transparent and a little touch of gloss varnish just to sort of thin it out. And I glaze that over the top. And I'm going to let that dry. The next step, I'm going to add red and I'm going to glaze that over top. And that's going to make my red. Now, and then I'm going to show you all how I approach lightsabers. So let me show you a lightsaber and we'll paint one.
Okay.
So I typically like, so you can see red, but there's this like line of
Hmm.
like uh bright. I usually try to find like a glamour angle, like that angle from the table that the lightsaber is really going to show up with.
Okay.
I think my Kit Fisto is done pretty good. Oh, let me grab this Vader. There you go. So there's that line because that's like the line that's
That
you're
yeah.
going to see from the table. And I'm going to re-accentuate that line, right? So I'm going to glaze with red to bring it red, but that red's going to be more intense because I have that yellow underneath. So that yellow is going to help brighten and make that red more vivid.
Makes sense.
Funny what I learned watching, you and Joe, because like to me, I would just paint the white saber white and then I would put the red over it so it has a little bit of something under it. And then when I was watching Joe paint the little atomic mass symbol, the take and paint. He was like he mixed like peach and something else, and it blew my mind the color you got out of it. And I was like, oh, I have no idea how colors mix together to
Yeah,
make certain
I
things.
needed I needed a grayish kind of color, but not like a pure gray. And so I took a little bit of a skin tone and with a little bit of black and kind of mixed them together. And Don's like, "You grabbed the wrong color." And he goes, "How did you just do that?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "It's gray now."
Yeah, peach mixed in the black or like a skin tone mixed in the black. Like, man, that makes such a good, I mean, even like we use a lot of like peach tones for like painting red armor. Like we'll mix like I'll use a peach tone into red and then highlight the like a red armor. So like and then I'll use like a red ink, like this transparent red, and glaze it to bring it back down. And that makes it more vivid and bright. It makes it more sharp and defined.
That is pretty
That,
awesome.
the other thing I don't like doing, I see people, at a DEFCON, I saw people, their armies, they shade the lightsaber, and I am very much against shading the lightsaber. There should be red, and then there should be the hot highlight. There should be green, and there should be the hot highlight. But I saw people put like dark red on the underside of the lightsaber,
Oh,
but it's still a
interesting.
lightsaber. There's no there, it
It's a
should be
light
fully
source.
illuminated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I do the same way as you. I don't like doing the shade on the bottom half. It's a glow stick with the bright light, right?
hmm
There's no part in the shadow per se.
Yeah, I thought about I have one unit of stormtroopers left to paint, and I thought about doing like the Sith Trooper-esque coloring from um Skywalker. What's the last one?
Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Mhm.
So I thought about doing like a red armor for them like that. So that's good information if I end up doing something like that to go with a peach with the red. Granted, I don't have peach, so I'd have to
We can hook you up,
get
buddy.
some peach.
I just feel
Color,
like the peaches.
my color palette's pretty minimal.
Yeah. I'm going
We
to.
all start somewhere.
It's
You
true.
do, 100%. And that's kind of how I learned how to do like the mixing peaches with a lot of different colors. Is I went through this phase at Dallas where I just didn't want to use like a paint as it came. I was like, I'm gonna mix every color I use, which is fun, but if you have to do touch ups and you're out of that paint, it becomes tricky to fix it correctly. But I went through this really weird process with some of my miniatures where I just every color on them is like a mixture of at least two different colors, and it kind of taught me a little bit more about color theory and how to blend and stuff. So I really appreciated that random streak I went on.
Two tips for that.
Please.
Write down your recipes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like write down your recipe. Write
Mhm.
it down. I have my recipe book.
I like your recipe book.
I write down my recipes. I'll give you three tips. If it's a special color that you absolutely have to have, like those base colors, make a bottle of paint, right? No big deal. Third tip, close enough is good enough.
That's where I always usually land on. If I go back, I'm like, man, it's like it's one of those things, Dallas, that no one else is going to notice, but you as the painter, you're like, I can slightly tell the difference, you know?
I like the differences though. Like I'm a sucker for it. Like I like imperfections. Like I lean into the imperfections. I've been teaching recently um like throwing on a wash and like you get those little pools and those little bad spots on armor or terrain, especially on terrain. And then I highlight those or I shade those and I just bring those in little imperfections out and I let those bring life to the miniature like in a more interesting, vivid way. It just tells more of a deeper story to me.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so now I'm going to use my pure white, a little bit of yellow to make like a really, really bright yellow. I'm going to use just the tip of my brush. And I'm going to accentuate that center line that's sort of where it's sort of facing the viewer, like if you were the player playing against him.
So I want to see what he's doing here. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay.
I don't know that I have a brush that has a tip on it like that.
Oh, you do stop it. This is what I deal with all the time, guys.
I'm just little tiny.
Just dab it on.
I'm just dab it
Tap it.
on.
Yeah.
Just a little tippy tap,
Just a little tip, tip, tap. Just
and
tap
then
it.
Just go to your home.
little. I like the little sketchy lines. Once again, it's that life, it's that texture,
Right.
that
Yeah.
visual interest, and it makes it feel more energetic, right?
Right. Got the Kylo Ren lightsaber going all over the place. Look.
Yeah. Well, so lightsabers aren't like if you look at all the colored lightsabers, this the what we have to sculpt is white, and the red is glowy around it.
Hmm.
I can't do that, right? We can't sculpt that. Um, so we have to. It took me so many like tries and fails, and I painted so many lightsabers trying to figure out how to paint lightsabers for the studio in an atomic mass game style, right? It goes back to that. How does atomic mass games approach it? So I sat down with like, I don't know, 20 lightsabers, and I just kept painting lightsabers in different ways
Hmm.
and different philosophies. And we finally landed on this, and everybody liked it. So now this is how all of our studio painters, like I made like a little video, goes out to the studio painters, they can follow along and they can do it.
That's
But
awesome.
it's just that little bit of subtle energy to kind of
Hmm.
get like, so your eyes look at it and your brain goes, right? We
Yeah.
all
Right.
make we all make the lightsaber noise. Don't make fun of me.
Absolutely.
We don't have him in hand yet. What is he jumping off of? Is it a droid? I'm trying to see his
Yeah,
base.
there's a little B1,
Ah, that's what I thought. Okay. I see
poor
his head now.
B1s.
I love decorating my base with B1. You guys are saving me from chopping up a B1. That works perfect. It's already pre-chopped.
Is anybody working on a droid army?
I have a droid army.
He has an ongoing droid army. Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
I had a few locals who bought a whole bunch of B1s secondhand and stuff, and they didn't need them all, so they gave me a bag of B1 parts. So I just still have that bag, and I reach in there and I'm like, oh look, another head or an arm, and it
All
becomes
right, here you go for everybody. Buy your B1s, right? Put them together. Prime and black, zenith, bright brown gray. Just zenith this right down, like 45 degrees down. Make sure you leave a lot of that black on the other side. Wash it with petroleum brown, right? Let that dry. Add a little ivory or pure white to this. Highlight. Done. B1 battle droids right there.
Hmm.
there you go. Let's try the new one.
I will have to try that.
You got the airbrush, you can do it.
I do have an airbrush now.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
He's got the airbrush. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally convinced him to get one. I use that all the time. But no, Dallas, thank you so much for coming on. We're definitely gonna have
Hey,
to. Oh, I like the Boba Fett shirt there.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's right up Don's alleys. We're gonna have
I
to
was
get
gonna
you
say,
back on again, though.
for sure.
This was really fun. We're gonna have to do some more
Yeah.
painting sessions.
Next time I'll have to paint so you can teach me the good ways.
Yeah, I tried to get him to
I
paint this time. He wasn't really keen on it.
we all have to paint next time. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
get down there and like just paint some stuff. Right?
for
It'll be
sure.
it'll be fun, and everybody will learn something, and
Yeah,
maybe you'll teach me something. That'd be great.
absolutely.
100%. Perfect. Well, thanks again, Dallas, for coming on the channel. I'm sure
Thanks
we'll
for having
talk
me.
to you here soon.
All right.
Can't wait. All of us can't wait for the mini strap. So we'll probably get you in some point after that to talk about some cool new sculpts we got to see for the
Perfect.
first time.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. Perfect. Well, thanks everyone for
Yeah.
watching. We really appreciate it. I'll finish painting my Rebel Troopers. I'll do a whole video of from where they're at now to finish. That way you guys can see them. I'm sure Dallas will throw some finished shots of his up at some point as well, so you can see
Yeah.
how that turns out. And thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you.
Thanks.